So, I mean, when it comes to this ISSAA situation, to be fair, rank at the end of it, I was a bit shocked when they went ahead and replaced NBK instead of ISSAA and not taking both of them out at the same time, because NBK was probably removed, and he admitted it himself in his statement when he got removed from the roster. He said that they didn't align on visions for in-game leading, and that going forward he would like to be an in-game leader, which is essentially the NBK curse. That's every roster. It's always happened the same way over and over every time. I mentioned it in the NIP video. I mean, it's just something that happens with NBK. Eventually, it's like a fuse that's burning, and at the end of it, it just blows up. He wants to take over. It didn't happen for him. Fine. But I thought that they would switch out ISSAA at the same time and just get 2 new players in and start over, right? And just really take the time and try to start something new. Because in terms of ISSAA's individual performance lately, it's just been a struggle. He's dealing with time. The time zone difference isn't too bad playing from Jordan, but the ping, he's always playing with that 80 ping. Of course, the meme right there is laughing Kazakhstani, ha 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 ha, because guys like Adren have been playing on wooden PCs with 100 ping plus for freaking ever and just owning everybody with it. So it is possible to play on that ping, but it can be kind of seen as your excuse, right? That the ping, and especially in this era, it's the sunken cost fallacy. It feels like that's what was going on with OG with ISSAA. They want to keep him on board. They feel like he could do something, but you're in too deep, right? You think that you don't know when the online era is going to finish. Alexi B mentioned it on the podcast that he did where HLTV confirmed, where he talked about whether or not that ISSAA brings a lot to the team on LAN. And so how long are you going to wait? If you have to keep playing online, but it could go back to LAN soon. And if it goes back to LAN soon, this is where this guy can shine. And so you're trying to hold on to him for that purpose, except that everything is happening online now. And so why are you going to get rid of him? That's the issue. So, right. I mean, as far as his individual statistics are concerned, I mean, it's been a little bit of a struggle bus as far as ISSAA's been doing. I mean, in the big matches where they really needed him to step up, he wasn't quite there for them. In the CS summits, where it's like, okay, whatever. These are the tournaments, the in-betweeners, right? Where it's like, okay, you did all right, but like in the big ones, 0.84, 0.86, barely breaking 1.0 in the Katowice. These are struggles, and not even breaking the 1.0 in Pro League. This is from a guy who's supposed to be hard fragging for you, who's supposed to be doing damage if it's going to justify him being on the team. And so it seems like he wasn't able to bring that to the table. Maybe some of the criticism that he was getting from some of the pundits in the scene was starting to get to him as well. We saw him react to some of the criticism, even called Thorin out by name on the EPL broadcast interview that he did. And that's just never a good sign, because where there's smoke, there's fire. If somebody, if a player, and this kind of plays out, right? If a player or an org call out an analyst and say that the analyst has no idea what he's talking about, many times that happens, it's the analyst who's actually kind of hitting a little bit too close to home, and there's some truth to it, right? And it seems like that was what played out. Instead of, it looks like they tried to give it a little bit more time. They tried to let ISSAA kind of float in here and see if he could make up for it. Maybe they gave him a warning when they let NBK go. Maybe even prior to NBK being let go, there was a situation where they maybe had some talks where it's like, hey, we need to see a rise in performance, otherwise things are going to go south. So maybe he knew, and he was just trying to play it up and hope that he could pull it off here for Pro League. But it doesn't look like it panned out. And it's a sucky situation to find himself in. It's an unfortunate situation, but I mean, it's another victim of COVID. This whole situation of being online, when you're playing online, and especially a game like Counter-Strike, it's not the same as a game like Dota or StarCraft, where ping is a thing, but it's not the end all be all. I mean, in an FPS, we're talking fractions of seconds that are going to make the difference between you hitting that headshot or not. And if you're constantly having to play with that, it may just weigh on them too much, and it's just not going to be enough. I think also OG, they're probably starting to make the changes necessary to really cement Alexi B as the in-game leader, and really cement him as the single guiding light for the roster, and trying to remove the players who are going to cause friction for that. And so Thorin himself has mentioned this in several times, listening to comms of the OG playing, where ISSAA tries to, he may not be the best at calming, he may not be the best at following the plan, and so it may be that OG are trying to clean house, and they may be finally just starting to try and align behind Alexi B and saying, okay, if you're going to be on this roster from here on out, it's Alexi B calling the shots. This is it. He's the in-game leader. We're not going to divide the leadership. We're not going to allow for any more splits in this team. It is going to be Alexi's team. He's calling the shots, and if you're here, you need to be on board with that. And so maybe this is just another step in that direction, right? ISSAA getting removed from the roster, individually not performing, but maybe also just not really aligning with where the team needs to be in order to find success. And so he's going to be cut from the roster, and we're going to see where OG decide to go from here. I mean, it feels like you can have some really strong players out there to take the place of ISSAA. And so, I mean, if OG, I mean, the big one going around right now is Rops, obviously. You know, if you have the money, OG, you could just go in and make Mouse Sports Management's day, pay that buyout, get Rops out of jail, bring him over to OG, and let him just go to town hard with Alexi B. I mean, if Kerrigan is saying that Rops is the most complete player that he's played with, you know, that's a very high endorsement, right? That is not said lightly, and Kerrigan is no joke as an in-game leader. And so Alexi B's got to hear that and think, And you got to be wondering right now if OG are kind of asking questions as to whether or not they're willing to actually spend the money to make the plays. Because this is an opportunity now for them to actually get out there, flash a little cash, and pick up one of the big star talents out there and really try and take OG to that next level. Because now you can really have it where Alexi B can be the leader. You add some additional firepower to the mix. Nico seems to be doing well on the team. I mean, we don't know if he's going to stay yet or not. He's still in that kind of stand-in scenario. But maybe you get in there, you bring Rops in, you really just supercharge this team with some nitrous oxide, and you get going. Nitrous oxide, NOS, right? I think that's it. I don't know, but I don't know cars. But, you know, you really just supercharge things and you get things going. But again, you'd have to spend money. Now, barring that, you may be able to still get somebody decent off of the open market. I mean, Kirby's still out there. I'm not vouching for AZ anymore. I don't know. I've heard some things behind the scenes that maybe he isn't the player that we should be looking to. But, you know, Kirby, major champ, has the experience, definitely hungry to get up there again. Maybe you bring him onto the roster. If you're operating on a budget, if you can't make plays to spend the money, then maybe that's where you go. You go to Kirby, you go to Mihu, you go to one of these guys. But if you've got the cash right now, OG, I think all eyes are on Robson, whether or not you're going to free him. If you're going to show up, you know, with the TNT, detonate a hole in the wall and help him run away. So we'll see. But yeah, just a quick thought on ISSAA and the situation with OG. Hopefully we'll see OG come back stronger behind that. But there we go. We'll see you.